Alrighty, guys, what is going on, everybody? Happy Thursday, March 20th. I hope everyone is having a beautiful, beautiful day here for today. Good to have you guys here for another update on a bit of severe weather ahead. What's up, everybody? Hope everyone's doing good. Let's see who we got here today. We have Scott, we have Yankee, we have Catloaf, we have Easily, we have Polly, we have, let's see here, Tom. We got Moon, we have Diana, we have Abby, we have Kim, we have Binksy, we have Pink, we have Rebecca, we have Renita, we have Delmar, we have my mom, we have Mark, Wendy, Jazz, Red Cyclonic, of course, everybody else who is here. Welcome, everybody. Hope everyone's doing good. So we got ourselves a big risk ahead of some severe weather. We've been kind of in this groove lately where we've been dealing with a lot of nasty storms here. Obviously, we had that really big outbreak last Friday and Saturday. Then, of course, we had a little bit of severe weather after that. We have another day of severe weather ahead here for Sunday. This Sunday, we got to be prepared for a little bit of severe weather across the areas here in the yellow. We are in a 15% risk for severe weather. Let's see. What's up? Abby said happy first day of spring. Oh, yeah. That's right. Today's first day of spring. Hope you guys are doing good. Yeah, finally winter's out of the way, but it's still pretty cold. It's still pretty cold. But anyway, so yeah, we're going to go over here in the Sunday. We got a pretty, another day of severe weather potential. So just a little bit of a heads up to areas out in eastern Texas here for Sunday, central and northern Louisiana, southern Arkansas, a bit of central and northern Mississippi, northern Alabama here, pretty good amount of, Tennessee included as well, south central Kentucky, and a little bit of extreme northwestern Georgia is in that risk here for Sunday. Now, like I mentioned, this is a 15% chance probability of severe weather. As of now, obviously the main scale is goes from a level 1 to a level 5. This is not on that scale yet, but it is probability based for severe weather. So, for example, like we mentioned here, across the yellow, let's just say, for example, you guys live in Jackson. This applies to anybody who's in this yellow area. So, for an example, within a 25-mile radius of Jackson, for an example, within a 25-mile radius, as a collective for severe weather, there's no specific breakdown right now, between tornadoes, large hail damaging winds, just in general, seeing severe weather. So within a 25-mile radius of a location, there is a 15% chance of seeing severe weather. So if you guys are in the yellow, within a 25-mile radius around you, there is a 15% chance here of seeing severe weather. So once again, for Sunday, we do need to be weather aware. Once again, across portions of Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, portions here of Tennessee, Kentucky, and a little bit of Georgia. We'll definitely keep an eye out there for a little bit of severe weather. What's up, Southern? Hope you're doing good. Hello from Dallas. What's up? Yeah, Dallas is actually in the risk, by the way, so keep it out there for Sunday. Hello from Long Island, New York. What's up? Hope you're doing pretty good. Thanks, Jay. I appreciate that. But all right, everybody, let's go ahead and hop our way. Actually, I'm actually going to bring up the SPC. We do actually have a little bit of a risk on Saturday as well. I want to just quickly talk about. So here for Saturday across the the green, the dark green here, there's also the potential for a little bit of severe weather. Just a level 1 threat, like we mentioned. The scale goes from 1 to 5. Kind of 5 being the greatest probability and the worst potential for severe weather, and the level 1 kind of being the lowest probability and overall the lowest probability, lowest potential for seeing those severe storms. Now, regardless of what level you're in, level 1, level 2, 3, 4, 5, it's still an active risk for severe weather. So yes, we still need to be weather aware even if it is a level 1 threat. So here for Saturday, we do have that level 1 threat here across portions of northeastern Ohio. That is not Ohio, that is Oklahoma. I don't know why I just called Oklahoma Ohio. Let's just forget that never happened. Eastern Kansas here, portions of central and southwestern Missouri and northwestern Arkansas. We do have a level 1 threat here as well. Now, as of now, there is no breakdown for that either. As of the moment, as of right now, it's just a level 1 severe weather risk. And they did say, if we go down a little bit, they did mention that severe thunderstorms, mainly for large hail, are possible Saturday night. So that's kind of the summary. So they did say from the SPC, they did say that the main threat is going to be for large hail here on Saturday. And then, like we mentioned, we go into Sunday. Sunday has a bigger risk here overall. Now, nothing really else in the extended range. Really, the only days as of now for the next week, regarding severe weather is just going to be this weekend. Here for Saturday, for Sunday, kind of Sunday being, the bigger day overall. Regarding the greatest probability of seeing severe weather, it's going to be there for Sunday. Now, for today, really not much going on. Same thing for tomorrow, here for Friday. We might even have a couple storms up there towards the Midwest here in this green area. Same thing in the Pacific Northwest. A couple of storms can't be ruled out, but to be honest with you, once again, nothing really crazy is expected, regarding the next couple of days. Once again, that kind of starts on Saturday for the Midwest, a little bit of the plains. Then we go into Sunday for a lot of the deep south out there for severe weather. So, anyways, let's see here. Easily says the whole thing would be a level 2 out of 5 risk once it's a day 3 out. Yes, that is correct. So the 15% probability equivalent is equivalent to a level 2 out of 5 severe weather threat. So the maximum that they can issue, anything, So basically, we go by days. So, for example, today would be day 1. Tomorrow would be day 2. The day after would be day 3. So, for day 1 to day 3, we have the outlook that goes from a scale of 1 to 5. Anything past day 3, day 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, those are probability based, meaning it's either a 15% chance or a 30% chance, or none at all, of course. And we have a 15% chance here for Sunday, which, this is equivalent to a level 2 threat. I'm not trying to confuse you guys because it's just how it works here. So, but yeah, this is day 4 as of right now. And so tomorrow this will become day 3's threat, which will have the scale from 1 to 5. Does that make sense? I know it's a little kind of it's kind of a little tricky, but so yeah, tomorrow we'll have the actual scale from the scale of 1 to 5 regarding the system here for Sunday. So we'll, of course, we'll give you guys more updates and everything like that. So, anyways, let's see, is Granbury in the risk? I don't know, Polly. Which state is that? What state is that? What's up, Braden? Hope you're doing good. Red says, is Ohio in the risk? No. Ohio is not in the risk here. Ohio is not in the risk. What's up, Pines? Hope you're doing good. Let's see here. Good evening, my friend. Thank you for your hard work. No problem, William. Good to have you here, man. All right, so let's go ahead and hop away to models. Let's go ahead and take a peek and see what's going on out here. I do want to kind of do a little bit of a breakdown, that way we can kind of see what is going on specifically. So like we mentioned, SPC, the Storm Prediction Center, for Saturday's risk, they mentioned the fact that the main concern for Saturday is going to be hail. So let's go ahead and bring up the models here. So we're bringing up the models overall. So this is the NAM. This is the 0 Zulu run. Actually, we'll have to hop back to the 18 Zulu run. That one's still rendering. So we're looking at the fuel in the atmosphere here. So you can kind of see for Friday, we have a little bit of fuel. Let's see here. A little bit of fuel going on out there for, according to NAM here, for pretty much Friday. Like I mentioned, we're not expecting severe weather on Friday, but a couple of storms could not be ruled out. So, while there is fuel for storm activity, we're not expecting any severe weather to go on there. Here for Saturday going into Sunday, you can kind of see we do build up a little bit of instability. And it's not really until like late Sunday, where we do have a pretty good pool of unstable air across the south here, across like Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, going up in towards Tennessee, which, kind of looks like the risk that we have, kind of where all that instability is. So yeah, you can kind of see how that kind of lines up there. But yeah, we really start to build in a pretty good amount of instability here for Sunday, going into Monday here. Let's see, Renita coming in with a $5 donation. Thank you so much, Renita, saying, so you're telling me I could take a break this week, Andrew. So as of now, yeah, you're looking pretty good. We're not expecting any severe weather out there by you, overall. Between the next several days, there's just not going to really be any fuel for storms out there. So yes, Renita, you're looking pretty good. Now we're not expecting anything crazy for you. The areas that we do need to keep an eye out there for, like we mentioned here for Sunday, Sunday is going to be the main day that we're really, keeping an eye out there for that. So with that being said, like we mentioned, we do have that main risk across Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, and Kentucky here. Also a little bit of extreme northwestern Georgia there. So yeah, these are going to be the main areas here that needs to be keeping an eye out. And of course, you being out there by Macon, you're pretty good. You're just outside of that risk area. And looking at the models, like we mentioned here, at the fuel in the atmosphere, that fuel potential, doesn't quite reach Georgia too well. So there's really not going to be fuel for storms. But out west, further west of you, yeah, for, like we mentioned, like Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, according to GFS here, which, obviously take it with a grain of salt. This is one model run, but this run from GFS does show a pretty good amount of fuel, instability in the atmosphere for these storms here. I mean, we're talking a good maybe 1,500 to 2,000 joules per kilogram of instability. That is a lot of fuel. That's actually a pretty good amount of instability. That's actually more instability than we had on the last severe weather event. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the threat we had on Friday and Saturday had about this much. Now, you can't compare that, of course, because Saturday had other things that this event doesn't. But, just regarding the amount of fuel in the atmosphere, you guys just need to know there's a pretty good amount of energy available there, or potential energy. Now, looking at our lower level winds, actually I got some good news for you guys. Looking at the lower level winds, you can kind of see that, we're talking maybe around 30 knots or so, which is good. I mean, it's definitely nothing significant, which is great. So, that would keep that tornado threat likely pretty low. So that's kind of where we have a lot of that instability we were just talking about. And if we look at our lower level winds here, I mean, we're talking maybe 40 knots, according to GFS here, maybe a 40 knot lower level jet of kind of northeasterlies. So what that means is that, in the lower atmosphere, about 5,000 feet up or so, the winds are going to the northeast here at about 40 knots or so. That'd be roughly 50 miles an hour or so, which, I mean, it's decent. It's a decent lower level jet, but, honestly, it's, the direction that the winds are going, and since it's a little bit lower, I'm not super concerned, for tornadoes being a big problem. And of course, as we go up in altitude here to our mid-levels at 500 millibar height, so that's about 20,000 feet or so. So you can see that the winds, they do slightly turn more to the east. So our lower level winds are going to the northeast, and our mid-level winds are going to the east. So there's a little bit of a change in wind direction there, and the winds are not really increasing in wind speed with altitude too much. So that's leading me to believe, so that veering that we were talking about in previous events, so, the wind's changing direction with altitude and, increasing in wind speed as we gain altitude. that's very important for tornadoes. That's very important for tornadic activity. And, this event here, according to what GFS is kind of suggesting here, really not seeing too much craziness with that. So, honestly, I really believe that the main kind of concern that we're probably going to be dealing with here on Sunday is going to be mostly a wind threat. So I think the main concern for these storms here is just going to be potential for, damaging wind gusts, within those storms here. Tornadoes, honestly, really not. I don't think it's going to be much of a big problem here. Anyway, so here's a little sounding. I know there's a lot of gibberish on this that you guys probably are a little scared to look at, which I don't blame you. Getting into meteorology, this was definitely very intimidating. But basically what I'm just going to point out here, I'm not expecting you guys to know how to read all this. What I am going to point out here is that, there's a pretty good amount of instability in the atmosphere, for storms. I mean, storm tops, how tall those storms could get, could be upwards of 12 kilometers tall, which, that's a pretty tall storm top here. So pretty good amounts of instability, relatively dry mid-lower level atmosphere here, with a pretty good amount of instability along there. Leads me to believe that we could actually have a bit of a hail concern as well. Our lower level winds here, once again, are not super strong. I think it'll be fairly limited, but I do believe that this could be quite a hail maker. Definitely a sounding here. This would be a hail maker. Relatively dry atmosphere in our lower mid levels. Pretty good amount of instability around that region there too, like we were talking about. Pretty tall top thunderstorms. And if you look over here, there's a value that says D cape. This is downwards cape or downdraft cape, basically measuring the force of the downdraft. And cape stands for convective available potential energy, which is basically the fuel in those downdrafts. And that value is over 1,000, which that means that we have some pretty strong D cape values, which could lead to strong winds and damaging winds. That's just more of a thing here. So, out of this sounding here, the main concern I see is definitely going to be between hail and damaging winds here. Like we mentioned, there's a pretty good amount of instability in that sounding there. Anyways, let's see here. I'm going to grab another sounding here across southern Arkansas. I'm not trying to confuse you guys too much. I'm just kind of breaking things down a little bit, kind of just seeing what we're looking at. Here's another sounding. Let's see here. Yeah, so the atmosphere is pretty dry, I've noticed, in our mid-levels. That could be pretty good for hail-making storms and stuff like that. Wind shear is a little bit stronger the further northeast you go into the risk there. But you know what? This is just kind of the same thing. The main concern, I believe, in a sounding like this would just be mostly just damaging wind gusts and hail. I think that's going to be the leading concern. Honestly, the good news is I don't think tornadoes is going to be as much of an issue on this upcoming event as it has been in the past. Let's see. Renita coming in with another 5. Thank you so much, Renita. I appreciate your support. Saying thank you, Andrew. Thank you for everything you do for us. You're amazing. Have a good week, everyone. You as well, Renita. Thank you so much for the 5. I appreciate it, my friend. Big shout out goes to you. Let's see here. Easily says so much science. I know. There's a lot to it. Like I said, I'm not expecting you guys to know how to read all this mess. It is a bit of a... It is a lot to take in, but basically what I am pulling from here is that, there is conditions where hail and damaging winds would be a concern. And like we mentioned, tornadoes, I wouldn't rule them out completely. I honestly wouldn't rule them out completely, but I do think that risk would be relatively low as to compare to some of these other events we've recently seen. So that's good news. That's good news. Main concern on this event, previous events, the main concern was tornadoes, damaging winds, then hail. This event that's coming up here, I think the main concern is going to be damaging winds, hail, then tornadoes. So that is what I'm kind of picking up from all this here overall. So, pretty good amount of instability, like we mentioned here overall. The winds in the atmosphere, they're decent, but they're just not really... not really lining up for anything super crazy for tornadic potential and whatnot. Looking at our dew points here, the amount of moisture in the atmosphere. Honestly, we're talking a pretty good amount of moisture. I mean, those dew points there in the mid, maybe even upper 60s, which, that's a pretty good amount of moisture that will be available to those storms there. You're definitely going to notice that it's going to be pretty muggy ahead of the storms that do develop there. Because we have a lot of that water vapor, a lot of that moisture coming in from the Gulf, rolling its way into the south here. And of course, that cold front kind of knocking all that out as we roll our way into Monday, essentially. So once again, yeah, Sunday's going to be the day of concern that we definitely need to keep an eye out there for it. Once again, guys, just a bit of a heads up for folks out there by Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, portions of Tennessee, southern Kentucky, and northwestern Georgia here overall. Let's see here. Is there a sign of a tornado threat during this event? So, like we mentioned, I think that there could still be some tornadic potential with this event, but honestly, I don't think it's going to be much of anything crazy. If we did get a tornado risk in this event, I think it would be relatively low. The main concern, I think that damaging winds and hail is going to be over superior to the tornado threat in this event. So for this event, I would prepare more for large hail and damaging winds in those storms rather than tornadoes. But I wouldn't completely rule out that tornado potential. I would just say it's much lower than the previous events we've recently just seen. So, so we can't remove it, but I'd say it's pretty low as to compare to the other things. Let's see here. What's up, Christian? Hope you're doing good. Saying sorry I'm late. No, you're good. Don't worry about it. It's good to have you here. But yeah, so GFS does show a pretty good amount of moisture. Looking over at Euro now. Euro kind of in agreement here, showing a lot of moisture, dew points in the, lower, maybe mid, upper 60s, which, that's good. That's a good amount of moisture. Lower level winds, like what the GFS was suggesting, maybe upwards of 40 knots or so. Regarding those lower level winds, those are actually pretty on point. Look at that. So there's Euro, and then there's GFS. Those are pretty locked in. They're pretty close. Like we mentioned, nothing super significant. Lower level winds, they are moving at 40 knots, which is a decent speed. But the winds are going to the northeast in our lower atmosphere. And as we go up in altitude, the winds go to the east. So we're changing directions in our lower atmosphere from the northeast to the east as we go up higher. And because of that, there's not too much veering here. Not too much of what I believe, tornadic ingredients won't be as potent for this event as it would be like for the previous events overall. Let's see here. I'm trying to do the best I can of explaining it. I'm not the best teacher, but I'm just trying to explain it the best I can. Let's see. Very much going to be some powerful thunderstorms with the event. Absolutely, and pretty like we mentioned a little bit ago with some of those soundings. The pretty tall thunderstorms too. That equilibrium level, the EL, basically at the point where the atmosphere goes positively buoyant to neutral. So basically, as that warm air is rising, it hits the EL and then it stops rising because everything becomes equal. The parcel. I'm not going to get too far into it. I don't want to dig myself a hole. But anyway, so yeah, basically, the thunderstorms will be pretty tall, potentially, which could lead to, heavy rainfall, all kinds of stuff. And like we mentioned, damaging winds and hail is going to be kind of the main concern with this event here, as to compare to tornadoes. Like, once again, we can't rule out tornadoes, but that's going to be kind of the lower of the concern, thankfully. Anyways, see, state issued wildfire alert today across Georgia, South Carolina. I wonder how that'll affect the fire risk. So for fire conditions, you need low humidity and strong winds. So the reason that we're getting low humidity and strong winds is because of a cold front passage that we have going through the country right now. On the back side of that cold front, it is driving down more cooler, more drier air. And the winds are still flowing because higher pressure is building in, which is allowing for those fire conditions to increase. Now, before an event like this, those humidity values are going to be increased. And those winds still could be blowing pretty decently, but that will probably lower the wildfire risk because we'll have more humidity, more moisture building in to the atmosphere ahead of this event here. Overall, the reason that a lot of those fire conditions we've been experiencing, I mean, not just down in the south, but also towards like the southern plains over the last couple of days, is just because of the dry air and the strong winds that's been across those regions there. That's really the main thing with fire weather, is just dry air, low humidity, and strong winds that contributes to wildfire conditions overall. In which I'll go ahead and bring it up here real quickly. Bring up the risk here for fires. Actually, believe it or not, we do have a pretty decent risk out there for today. I mean, even Florida there, you can see, has a critical fire risk, which, there's basically a scale from 1 to 3, elevated, critical, and extreme. We're in a level 2 actually out there by eastern Florida overall. So that's that. That's that. You can also see up there pretty decent towards like New Mexico. For tomorrow, we have fire conditions, potentially across the central plains, central southern plains into the Midwest here, there for Friday. So yeah, fire is going to be a little bit of a concern for some of those regions there. But let's see here. Wife asks, is the green rain? So back over here, these are our winds. So the green here, this is just showing relatively low wind speeds, basically. So the winds are relatively low in the green. Now, if I was to pull up the future radar, which we'll take a look at here, let's see, that's precipitable water. Let me pull up the NAM here for a second. Let's bring up the simulated reflectivity. There we go. So the green here would be rain overall. And, of course, yellow being kind of moderate rainfall and whatnot. So, yeah, here's NAM. You can kind of see here as we approach our way into late Sunday going into Monday here. You can kind of see we developed this line of storms potentially. Now, unfortunately, it looks like the timing for this event here is going to be kind of late, meaning that the storms that we do get, it's going to be relatively late. It does look like this event could be firing off because, I mean, this model here, from the NAM, from the latest NAM that we have available, you can kind of see that as we work our way into actually early Monday, this is right around 1 a.m. Central Time. 06 Zulu would be 2 a.m. Eastern, 1 Central, I believe. So that would be fairly late, fairly late or early, depending on how you look at it, for storms developing. So we'll have to see about doing some coverage. I might be able to push some coverage. Especially I have a thing with night storms, man. I do not like nighttime. I mean, I don't like severe weather in general because of the things it can do. But at nighttime, yeah. So I'm going to do my best to be live here for night, here for Sunday, going actually into early Monday. It's going to be a relatively late event, it looks like. All right, see you later, Abby. Thanks for joining. No problem, Binksy. No problem at all. Let's see here. Here in Granbury, Texas, the wind was not even blowing today. It was a nice day. Yeah, actually, we have that high pressure that's been building into those regions there. So thankfully, things have calmed down a bit, actually. Let me pull this up for you guys. Wow, my camera is very bright right now. Hold up, see if we can fix that. There we go. It's what happens when I open up a browser. It's like my whole face just turns white. Just illuminates. Let me go ahead and bring you guys over here to this page here. This is actually one of a new model site that I've been using here. It's really, really, really good. So let me go ahead and load up some of these bundles I have. We'll go ahead and bring up the H triple, or actually no, we'll bring up NAM here again. What I do want to look at though is the let's see here. Here we go. We'll pull up the instability in the winds and stuff. So let's go 18 Zulu. Here we go. So Let that load in here. So we're basically looking at that fuel again in the atmosphere. And there you go. So you can really see once we approach our way here into, by the way, the time's in the top right there. I will make that Eastern time so you guys can see that. So the thing is that, once we approach our way here into, pretty much Sunday, pretty much early Sunday, we start to build in a little bit of instability towards like the Central Plains and whatnot. And everything. But, it's not really until we work our way into the evening on Sunday that we have a lot of instability that builds in across, Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Tennessee, upwards, even into Kentucky or whatnot. You can see that, as we approach right around 11 p.m. Eastern time, once again, take this with a grain of salt, regarding timing. It's still a little bit early for that, but you can see that, we really start building in a lot of instability, and that line develops fairly late. Late Sunday going into early Monday here, and that's kind of where the model ends there. So, like you said, we build in a pretty good instability, a pretty good amount of fuel for these storms. And, the storms are going to be very late from what it looks like overall. So we'll see. Gabby says, just got here. Welcome. Let's see. How strong is the predicted winds in Nashville? All right. So, yeah, Nashville, I do want to go ahead and say Nashville is in the risk here for Sunday. So I do need you to be weather aware. You can see Nashville is in that risk area here. So keep an eye out there for that. Now, the exact probability right now is still kind of unknown, considering this is still, about 3 days out. But, in terms of, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, this is still 4 days out. But, pretty much since today's over with, it's pretty much 3 days out. But, it's still a little hard to calculate that as of right now. But I would definitely say that, with that line of storms that does roll through, there definitely could be some strong winds rolling through the region there. And like I mentioned, it would be relatively late evening on Sunday going into Monday would be kind of roughly whenever those storms could build its way into the region. Now, thankfully for your area, the instability is a little bit lower, meaning that the fuel for storms is not as great as it is for areas further down to the south here. So not entirely too sure. Like I said, whenever the SPC comes out and they give you a probability based for, damaging winds or whatnot, within the next couple of days, we'll be able to let you know, how strong they're. But what I can do for you though is, I can do this. I can go ahead and remove this real quickly, and I will bring up the winds, just based off of the model, non-thunderstorm winds, just to kind of look at, how strong those winds, essentially could be. So let me bring up the wind gusts here. These will be the maximum wind gusts here, according to the NAM model in this case. Like I mentioned, this is the NAM model, North American model. So as that event does kind of roll through here, you can see that this does not really take into consideration what they could peak on during the storm itself, but just in general gusting. We could have some strong wind gusts, possibly 30, maybe upwards of 40 miles an hour nearby Nashville here for kind of going into Sunday here. And once that line goes through, you can kind of see NAM has that kind of going down a bit. But once again, that line of storms that rolls through could definitely allow for those winds to be a bit stronger and whatnot. So with that being said, definitely does look to be pretty windy out there, especially out there by Texas and Oklahoma. You can kind of see here as we approach our way into late Saturday into early Sunday. You can kind of see that we could be kicking up some pretty strong winds out there between like Texas and Oklahoma. So definitely could be seeing some pretty strong winds out there again. Yeah, that's something we'll have to definitely look into. Also, let me go ahead and load this real quickly. As you can kind of see here, looks like according to this model, as we approach our way into early Friday, could be picking up some really strong winds up there towards like Kansas and let's see here, Oklahoma, also western Missouri there. Here, let me pull up GFS here. It's good to compare models. Let's see what the GFS kind of suggests with that. I mean, GFS shows it there, maybe a little bit less, but still very strong winds out there. Okay, so yeah, early Friday, heads up to the folks up there in eastern Kansas, like western Missouri. It does look like we will be having some pretty strong winds out there. Let's see here. Gabby says, thanks so much. No problem. You're very welcome. What's up, Swanky? Hope you're doing good. Moon River says, thank you. Didn't have to ask tonight about Northwest Georgia. Yep, you're good. I would keep an eye out there for Sunday, though. For Northwest Georgia, like I mentioned, we do have a level, we have a 15% risk out there for severe weather on Sunday. Depends how far northwest you are, though, of course. As of now, like Atlanta's not in the risk area as of right now. But, we do have Northwest Georgia, like Dalton, Colhoun, Rome, Somerville. Some of those areas is in that risk out there for Sunday. But I would keep an eye out there for Georgia. Specifically the northwestern side, as a little bit of severe weather will definitely be possible out there overall. And if we bring back up our models here again on this page, hopping back to the GFS, you can see that a lot of that instability really does kind of fizzle out, though, as we approach those regions there. It seems like a lot of the instability, a lot of the fuel for this event here is going to be in those regions out by like eastern Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, not Missouri, Mississippi. I am calling states different names today for some reason. Like I called Oklahoma Ohio earlier, and now I'm calling Mississippi Missouri. Goodness, I just need to go to bed. But anyway, so yeah, like I mentioned, we'll keep you guys updated with this, and I'll go live again tomorrow to give you guys some more information and whatnot. If you guys want to do zip codes, go ahead and throw down your zip code. I'll let you know if you're in the risk or not for severe weather. If you're curious to see if you're going to be in that risk for severe weather or not, then go ahead and throw down your zip code. I'll let you know if you need to watch out or not. Like I mentioned, Saturday too, we have a little bit of a risk on Saturday, just a little marginal level 1 threat here for Saturday across portions of northeastern Oklahoma, northwestern Arkansas, a lot of central western Missouri, eastern Kansas. We do have that level 1 threat. As of now, there's no breakdown. We'll have that available for you guys tomorrow. But the main threat that Storm Prediction Center did say was going to be hail for at least Saturday's threat. I think Sunday's threat will also be kind of mainly a hail and damaging wind concern overall. So, all right, Polly, I got you, my friend. Let's see what we got going on there for you. Okay, so you are not in the risk not on the risk. Did I say Friday? I meant Saturday, sorry. Sunday, you're just outside of that risk out there. So Sunday, you're just outside of the risk. I would still keep an eye on it. I'll keep you informed, Polly, if you want to just stay tuned with these updates we're going to be pushing out here. So tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, I'll go live at some point, and I'll give you more of an update. But as of now, you're not directly in that risk, but you are nearby. So we'll see how that evolves. Okay, I'd keep an eye on it though. All right, Elite, I got you, my friend. Let's see here. You are up by Dallas area. Gotcha. So, yeah, Dallas is in the risk here. So, Sunday, Elite, we need you to be weather aware. We do have that 15% chance probability for severe weather. The good news, like I mentioned, while I can't rule out, tornadic conditions at all, there still could be some form of tornadic probability when we come to the risk here. But I don't think, like I mentioned, I don't think tornadoes will be the main issue. I think the main concern, like we mentioned, is going to be the threat for damaging wind gusts, within the line of storms, as well as hail, regarding this. So, between large hail, damaging winds, and tornadoes, I think damaging winds, then hail, then tornadoes would be the threat in order. So we'll see. But yeah, tornado threat does appear to be pretty low, especially the further west in the risk here, because the winds are a little bit weaker in the atmosphere. I don't think you're going to be much in for a tornado threat. I think you're going to be mostly in for winds and hail overall. Polly says, "Oh, I will. Thank you. Always do, Andrew. No problem. No problem, and I'm glad to see you're staying weather-aware, my friend. So, once again, if you know anybody across the yellow here, just give your friends and your family a heads up. Like I mentioned, we do have that risk out there for storms and for like I said, severe weather potential anywhere in the yellow here. So, if you know anybody out there, just give them a heads up. Like I mentioned, Sunday we're gonna have to be weather-aware. It's gonna be relatively a late threat, like we mentioned, late Sunday going into early Monday. It's gonna be kind of the timing of those nasty storms there. So, we'll keep you updated. Let's see here. Moon River says Alabama 1 hour away and Tennessee 45 minutes. So Northwest Georgia makes me watch those areas closely. Gotcha. Yeah, Moon River, it looks like a lot of that fuel, a lot of that instability for those storms does kind of fizzle out, as we approach those regions. So we'll see what they do with that risk. But yeah, Northwest Georgia does have that 15%. We'll see. It does seem like that instability, like we mentioned, though, does kind of thin out a bit. So, let's see here. Matt says, "Hey, NW106, you won't believe this. I had a tornado 4 miles from my house in Indiana last night. You called that forecast. Wow, Matt, I'm glad you're okay, dude. I am glad you are okay. That's pretty scary, dude. Matt, I'm glad you're good, dude. And I'm glad that I was able to help you, of course. Like I mentioned, that's what we're here for. We're here to help you all out as much as we can." But, Matt, more importantly, I'm just glad that you're okay, man. I am. You're welcome, Elite. No problem. Wendy wants me to look at a zip code. I got you. Let me go ahead and pull this up for you. It's up here in Missouri. Okay, so, yeah, Missouri's not in the risk here for Sunday. So you're looking pretty good. Nothing really crazy going on out there. If we hop our way back to the models here real quickly, we really just don't have fuel for storms out there for Sunday. Now, like I mentioned, actually, for Saturday, we do have a little marginal risk here. So you are in a little risk for Saturday. I would keep an eye out there for it. A couple of strong to severe storms are possible. Main concern is going to be actually hail. Main concern is going to be hail for Saturday. This is a level 1 out of 5. Like I mentioned, the scale goes from 1 to 5, 5 being the worst probability, the greatest potential, highest probability for severe weather, and the level 1 kind of being the lowest potential, lowest probability. But like I mentioned, regardless, level 1 or level 5, there's still a severe weather threat. That's what they share in common, is that it's still an active severe weather threat. And therefore, we need you to still be weather aware and still watching the weather here for Saturday. So, Wendy, I'd keep an eye on it. There's no breakdown quite yet regarding the exact probability for tornadoes, large hail, and damaging winds, but we'll keep you in the loop. We'll keep you in the loop. All right, Kristen, I got you. Let me go and pull up your zip code real quickly. Let's see what we got going on here. This is up in Louisiana. Okay, so we do have Louisiana in that risk here. Not for Saturday, but for Sunday. Yep, so you are in that 15%, my friend. So, Kristen, I would definitely keep an eye on it. You are in that 15% chance probability zone. So, like we mentioned before, tornadoes, I'm not going to rule out tornadic potential. I think it could be possible in some areas. But the main thing that I would look for with these storms would be like the potential for strong, winds and hail out of these storms. I think that's going to be the lead concern. Mostly a damaging wind threat following hail, then maybe a little bit of a tornado threat. We'll have to see how models continue to handle this and everything. But it as of now, it doesn't look like tornadoes are going to be much of an issue, which is good news, of course. But we'll keep you updated. But all right, everybody, I might call it a little bit early tonight. So if you guys have any final questions before I roll off here, go ahead and throw them in chat. I just want to hop on here for a little bit, let you all know what we got going on here for Sunday. Tomorrow, I don't know if I'm going to do a stream or not. I'm definitely going to do a video at least. So I'm definitely going to do a video here for tomorrow. Just want to get you guys another update. So, but I will definitely say, though, not tomorrow. All right, I'm going to say this. Tomorrow, maybe live stream. If not, definitely video. Okay. Then the day after tomorrow, I would definitely do a live stream, because at that point, then we'll have that breakdown regarding severe weather and stuff. So that's really nice, Moon River. Thank you for that. What apps do I use? I have a whole YouTube short on my page. If you go to my YouTube shorts, scroll down a little bit. There is a YouTube short I made explaining all the programs I use. I get that comment all the time. So, yeah, just go check out my YouTube shorts and you'll find it. Yeah, because actually I list a lot of sites that I use there. So, but anyways. But alrighty, everybody. Well, that's going to go ahead and wrap it up here for tonight. If you guys did enjoy it, consider leaving a like, hitting that subscribe button would be greatly appreciated. Once again, everybody, y'all take care. Have a wonderful rest of your night. Like I mentioned, try not to worry about the severe weather. Once again, the good news is that I think that the main concern isn't going to be tornadoes this time. So that's definitely good. But, still not ruling out tornadic potential, of course. But I do think the main concern... I do think the main concern is going to be, once again, damaging wind gusts in the line of storms that develops here for late Sunday, early Monday, and hail potential on there. So Jay says, this is the guy I turned my ad block off for. Okay, that's pretty funny, man. That's pretty funny. Hey, you don't got to do all that, man. I understand how annoying ads are. I appreciate it, though. Thank you, Jay. Let's see. What's up, Southern? Saying hi from Dallas. What's up? Hope you're doing good. So, Southern, just a bit of a heads up. Since you're in Dallas, Sunday, you do got a risk for severe weather. So, a little bit of gusty winds, a little bit of hail can't be ruled out. Tornado threat does seem to be very low, especially for this area. Because, the further west you go into the... here's something I want to go ahead and kind of explain here with this event, and then we're going to head off here. So, the further west you go into this event... the more instability there is, so the more fuel for storms there is, but the lower the winds are in the atmosphere, meaning our wind shear is relatively low for these areas, okay? So then for the more northwest you go, the more northeast you go up in the storm, the less instability or the less fuel for storms there is, but the more winds there is. So, you got to kind of find that Goldilocks zone, between the best ratio between wind shear and instability. And that kind of leads us to the middle of that risk area, which is kind of where we have, the most instability to the most winds, which, as you may or may not know, winds are very, very important for storm organization and sustainability. Very important. So winds in the atmosphere it's very, very important for storms, to be organized. So, the more northeast you go, possibly the better organized. But we'll see what happens. Like I said, this is still mid-range models. Things are still going to be changing a bit. But as we start to really gather some more information, like from HRRR, once that becomes in range, and some of these short-range models, we'll have a lot more information to give you guys essentially. What's up, K-Jack? Hope you're doing good. Southern says, my apartments are still repairing the roof from last storm. Ooh, gotcha. Yeah, well, Southern, keep an eye on it for Sunday. Once again, storms actually appear to be pretty late developing. It seems like this event's going to be pretty much late Sunday going into early Monday. We'll still see about timing because, obviously we're still a couple of days out. Timing can change a bit. But for a lot of people, the event really looks like it's going to be, I hate to say it, but a nocturnal event. A lot of nighttime storms appears to be quite possible with this event here for late Sunday going into early Monday. So timing's a little iffy still, but we'll see what happens. But anyways, folks, well, if y'all have any final questions, go ahead and throw them down the chat. If not, we're probably going to roll off here for now. Once again, tomorrow we're definitely doing a video for you guys. Maybe a stream, we'll see. But I'm definitely planning to do a stream here for the day after. So today is Thursday. So Friday, tomorrow, we'll do definitely a video, maybe a stream. Saturday, I'm definitely going to do a live stream for you guys, okay? So that is that. So we'll definitely keep you up to date there for... like I mentioned there for Saturday and Sunday and overall. But we'll keep you updated. Southern. Hey, it happens sometimes, but SPC does have you in that 15% risk there for severe weather. So there is that potential. So keep that in mind. Let's see here. I'm surprised we had a tornado at Cincinnati Airport, which is in Kentucky. Did you? I know there was a lot of tornadoes with that last event that we had, the previous event, I should say, that we had. The one for Friday and Saturday of last week, that one was pretty bad. It's pretty bad. But All right, everybody. Well, I'm going to go ahead and roll off here for tonight. I appreciate y'all for joining us. Once again, thank you all so much for being here. It's good to have y'all. Renita, if you're still here, thank you so much for the donations. I appreciate it, my friend. Thank you for the support. Of course, everybody else who, like I said, just watching this, just hanging out, I appreciate it. Like I said, I appreciate everybody for joining here, and I just want to go ahead and say thank you all for being here and hanging out with us for tonight. Once again, like I said, tomorrow on the table, I definitely plan to do at least a video for you, maybe a live stream, we'll see. But Saturday we'll definitely do a video, or sorry, Saturday we'll definitely do a live stream, and Sunday of course as well. So I'm gonna shoot for coverage actually on Sunday, late Sunday, going in early Monday. So we'll keep you guys updated. But all right, everybody, thank you all so much for joining. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your night. Once again, thank you so much for joining. On your way out, guys, if you have not already, consider leaving a like, hitting that subscribe button. It'd be greatly appreciated. And all right, everybody, thank you all so much for joining. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your night, and we'll catch you guys here later on. All right, everybody, thanks for joining. See y'all in the next one. Peace out, my friends. Catch y'all later on.